I just lost 7 months worth of film. In October of last year, it's now June, so 7 months ago, I went on a trip to Asia with my wife and my parents. We went to Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam. And all the while, of course, I shot anything and everything, both on medium format and 35mm film. Altogether, I have somewhere between 15 and 20 rolls of film, and I finally was getting around to developing it. So, business as usual, I do the typical routine that I've been doing for 2 years. Not a single change in that process, everything by the book, doing it perfectly. So I start to pull on one roll. Sure enough, the entire thing is blank. Then the next, still blank. All of them, that entire batch, every single roll, completely blank. Hello, welcome to those of you who are new. I'm Drew. Today I'll be talking about my experience and my mistakes, what I learned, and, obviously teach that to you. Let's just talk about what I'm learning here, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts on this whole experience. What sucks is that it's not even necessarily a mistake. So here's every possible idea that I have on why this happened. Option 1, I've exposed all 5 rolls to light and completely. That's not very likely to do that. To do that once is unlikely. To do that 5 times, that's, and I'm using my dark bag. So even if I was using a faulty dark bag, the light exposure from a dark bag would at the very most fog the film. I would be hard pressed to believe that it would flash the entire 5 rolls. We skip that, we go to the next hypothesis. Some of these did go through x-rays. I do have a video coming out on how to protect your film while you're traveling, so there's that. Again, I've followed my own steps here, and even with the influence of x-rays, it would not completely obliterate every single photo on every single roll. My assumption is that my batch of chemicals was expired. So if it's been a while after using your chemicals, you can do what's called a snip test, where you snip off a tiny piece of undeveloped film and you kind of pre-process a tiny little chunk of film to make sure that it's reacting properly. I will be doing snip tests for the rest of my life. What a horrible way to learn a very valuable lesson. But here's the thing. I genuinely thought I'd be in the clear. I've probably developed less than 5 rolls with this batch of chemicals. I'm sure it was the chemicals. I'm sure it was the age of the chemicals. I would guess it's maybe 8 months old. Lessons learned, labeling everything. Labeling when the chemicals were created and mixed, how many times they've been used, dating everything. And at the very least, if it's been a minute and I'm unsure, I can always do a snip test to make sure that it actually functions correctly. And the limitations of a snip test only dictate if the chemicals will work at all. It doesn't say how well they will work. So again, a snip test isn't like a foolproof solution here either. I'd also say and this is more of like a fortunate coincidence here, is the fact that I couldn't fit more than just 5 rolls in that tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I shot like 15 plus rolls, and at least the other 2/3 are okay. Also, I think some other things that could have been helpful is labeling what I shot on that roll. Again, this is months and months kind of all mixed together, multiple countries. For example, 2 or 3 of the rolls are very important to me. So my dad was adopted from Korea. Busan is very far away. I've been to Korea a lot of times, but this was the first time that I was able to go to Busan, and not only go there, but to visit the exact location that my dad grew up in. And being there with my dad to have him talk about his childhood memories was so special, obviously. And I shot that entire thing. I got some pictures of the exact locations that he would go to as a child. Immediately after, I labeled those. So I am so glad I was able to identify which ones were the most important, if I had to really boil it down like that. But the others, I truly won't know what I've lost until after I've developed the entire batch. I already do know that I lost pretty much every single photo from Thailand. So, about 2 weeks worth of photos are completely gone. I lost pictures of elephants, going to Phuket, various islands, all gone. These precious, irreplaceable memories, all gone. Ugh. Okay, so let's get some obvious stuff out of the way. Obviously, this is the nature of film, and when you're at the mercy of something that feels very out of your control, when shooting with film, there are so many touch points in which a million things can go wrong. It can be how the film was stored before you even purchased it, where you purchased the film from, how old it is. The camera that you're using could mechanically have some failures. If it's electronic, even more likely to have some failures. There's potential for light leaks. If you're shooting manual, then there's even more room for error. And if you're doing long exposures or anything at night, there's even more error with I'll get this. You have to compensate for light reciprocity. Got it. Then it's a matter of where you go to get it developed and or scanned. And yes, I could always send it to a lab. And you may be wondering, I've been doing this for 2 years. Why? Because I have too many horror stories with my local lab. They've straight up killed some of my rolls multiple times. Again, I don't want to talk badly on them, but I just frankly lost trust in them because I'm like, it's a machine. How can you mess up a machine? And yes, like one error that they did, they loaded the film roll backwards. When they snip the film, they just snipped through one of my pictures and I didn't get 4 images back. Or I got 3.5 images that were ruined because they reversed. Don't get me started. So I wanted to take the full creative control from A to Z in my own hands so that if anything went wrong, it would 100% be on me. It just sucks when that actually ended up happening, which I'm prepared to lose some pictures, but nothing really makes up for the feeling when you actually lose pictures. It feels like losing a loved one, like these precious memories that you won't get back. And yeah, sure, I shot stuff on my phone, but that's not the same. That's not why we shoot film. Yeah, this sucks. Anyway, I'm sorry this one's so depressing, but I did learn a lot. And the reason I'm making this at all is to kind of capture the reality of this art form, its fragility, and also to teach you guys in case you're following that film journey path. It's always better to learn from the mistakes of someone else. So that's more or less why I'm trying to make this. Sorry to be super depressing. It does suck. This is soul crushing, heartbreaking. Yeah, have you experienced something similar to this? I'm sure a lot of you out there have probably similar stories. I would love to hear them in the comments. But yeah, you know, us film nerds, we gotta stick together when this stuff happens. But I am very, very glad that I haven't lost those precious rolls of my dad. I am really, really glad that I labeled them. I did order a new batch of chemicals, and so hopefully soon you'll be seeing the outcome of the other rolls of film. But again, that's the risk of shooting with film. But that's also what makes it great, is it's not a guarantee. The fleeting uncertainty of your art working out is what makes film so satisfactory and fulfilling when it does work out. I'm going to keep telling myself that. I am alive. I still care about this channel. The nature of my type of content is that it usually takes months to accumulate enough footage to make videos. So thank you for being patient. Thank you for sticking around. And thanks for investing in this channel. If you liked this video, please like it. If you've experienced some other similar horror stories, please leave them in the comments below. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.